Oh, hello again. We really need to stop meeting like this. You've caught me in the middle of reading another great book. A journal, actually, and it's not often you find yourself referenced in someone else's journal. This journal belongs to a madman, a man obsessed with harnessing the power of souls. Well, why don't I just read it to you? Sit back, relax, and listen. Death. Every time I cross that threshold and face the Underworld, I find myself overcome with curiosity. Each time I stand in that lobby we call the Underworld, I marvel at how solid it feels, at how beneath my feet feels stone, my lungs seem to breathe air, and how the cold seems to enter my bones and cause me to shiver. Yet I know that this place is not, cannot be real. My thesis is that this underworld is formed not of matter, but of the memories of matter, of the detritus left behind by the souls that have passed on, like a snake shedding its skin. This would certainly explain why the afterlife of each world seems to mirror, in some way, the people of that world, or rather, their expectations. On my homeworld, the underworld is cold and precarious. A great frozen lake leading across to a temple that may have once been a mead hall, now transformed by the beliefs of the more recent dead. But here, the afterlife recognizes the gods that both guard and devour the dead. Most intriguing. There are times when I yearn to continue on, to shed this snakeskin life and see what awaits my soul beyond this limited physical existence. But I cannot. I have too much work left to do. I have met them again, perhaps for their first time, though certainly not mine. How strange it is to see them again after all this time. How their image has been warped by the passage of years and the inevitable drift of memories from one death to the next. I once imagined them as a mighty warrior, 7 feet tall, with weapons that were wreathed in arcane fire. But I suppose I had always known this was but a fantasy. To see them again now is almost disappointing. Even as they take my life, I find myself wishing that they were more than they are. Is it odd that I wish for my murderer to be more imposing? At their hand I have died countless times, and shall die countless times more. Who can say how many? I died as I did before. All things, it seems, are cyclical. Menethos continues to fascinate me. Its mythology and, most importantly, its gods. There is one, Amaskut, named now as the Devourer, who has left her mark on the very essence of the people here. A foul corruption has spread across their bodies and threatens their souls. It is not a useful ailment. It damages the souls, leaves them weak, vulnerable, and ultimately unfit for my experiments. Fascinating, but ultimately problematic. Another, more active deity is the one I have encountered many times on my journey back to the Underworld. The dog-like Icthlarin. An interesting sort, obsessed with guarding the souls on their journey back to an afterlife. He seems burdened by an ancient guilt. Perhaps that is why I feel a sense of kinship with him. I wonder if he realizes the sheer power at his disposal. If he just wanted, if he just reached out and used the vast energy flowing through his domain on a constant basis, he could rival any of the other so-called gods. Even Saradomin himself would fall. Listen to me, ever the Blasphemer. This place fascinates me further still. Do the people here even know the genius at work here? The breakthroughs that this place represents? There are machines here, buried deep within the dungeons underground. Machines that could harness and manipulate a person's soul while they yet still live. Are there others who have studied as I have? Are there others with the vision necessary to push past dogmatic ethical restraints and force this world into a new, brighter future? Perhaps. But there's more. I have felt it. There resides here a soul of tremendous power, a soul clearly divine in nature, yet it is not whole. It is split across several pieces, many of which have changed to become, of themselves, singular entities. One soul that has become many. Imagine what we could achieve with such a thing. A single person could become an army or a kingdom. They could create multiple versions of themselves with which to seek out more experiences, and in doing so grow ever more powerful. One could take these parts and combine them again to become something greater than the sum of those parts, a god. One born not of dalliances with ancient artifacts, but one that truly deserves the moniker. A god who has earned their place among the stars. Imagine. This I must investigate further. This world is an untapped resource and they cannot see it. The Grand Library of Menaphos contains many texts that reference terrible atrocities of the past. Death on a scale beyond comprehension. A dark cataclysm that must have severed so many souls from their bodies. Such magic is inefficient and messy. It tears life apart and leaves souls ripped and torn. It leaves the soul incomplete. It does, however, mean that there is energy just waiting to be harnessed. Death on such a scale would mean that I might be able to achieve something I had hitherto thought impossible. The arrival of Kathaar can only mean that I succeeded. I shall bring this world into a glorious new future. They will thank me one day. Thank you so much for listening to this story. I would love to tell you another one in the near future, but please, a little bit of warning next time. As always, take care of yourself, and I will see you next time.